It's Nova. Like said last video, this is an ongoing thing of talking about and explaining parts of this game that most people don't understand. So we go in right here in Recruit and the Tavern. We're going to talk about some generals. You go into Portraits, and it'll show you a basic overview of every single general of every single culture, whether you can hire it in the Tavern or not. You can hire it, it's going to say not recruited at the bottom and list the amount of gold it costs. If you can't hire it, it's going to, where's a good one? That one. It'll say the general is temporarily unavailable in the tavern, which means no matter how many times you spin and roll and refresh the tavern, it will not appear. So there's so many different generals, and I mean, while all of them have their benefits and downfalls, we'll just cover a couple of basic ones for the purpose of cav troops. So you have Martinus, of course. Martinus is probably the highest cav attack general that is available right now. The game releases new generals every so often, so that can change. But as of now, he has the highest cav attack of any general. Electra is normally a ranged general, even though it does increase mounted troop attack. Most people choose to opt and use her for ranged. And another thing can help is the specialty. Like, it gives ranged troop attack and mounted troop attack on a specialty, but all the other ones are ranged troop attack. So, with that being said, Martinus right here is plus 46% mounted troop attack, plus 10%, plus HP and defense, march speed, mounting mounted troop attack, stuff like that. So kind of glean a little bit of what the general's purpose is off the specialty as well as the skill. Uh, but you can really use anything with cav attack. If you don't have something better, then use what you got. One that you can recruit in the tavern is Washington. Washington's increases cav attack by 35%. And then his specialty also increases cav attack. So the downfall with Washington is you cannot put a level 4 cav attack skill book on him because his main skill is increase attack 35%. Like, I use Roland, and we'll go to him in a second. But Roland, oh, dadgummit. Alright. Roland has both increase mounted attack 30% and increase mounted troops defense and HP. So since it's not just a static skill, just mounted troop attack or just HP, I actually can add a mounted troop attack, a mounted troop HP, and a mounted troop defense to him to stack his already mounted skills. If that makes sense. So let's go straight to it. Generals. Alright, rolling. So as you can see, I don't have any of his specialty done yet, because Cav General is not my priority at this point in the game. So as you can see, I have the mounted troop attack, which increases another 25% on top of his special skill, which increases 30%. Then I have mounted troop defense, 25%, and mounted troop HP, 25%. So that's overall giving me the highest I possibly can get my stats without touching gear. The only thing I will say is you can opt one of the defense or HP for a mounted troop speed, and that will help your calves get there faster and attack. Whether in a PvP, it would make your calves arrive faster, thus taking less rounds of damage from ranged troops. And in bosses, it would make your calves smack before other calves or other troops. Say if you're all hitting a B14, you and your alliance support each other. Your calves would hit first if you have the calves speed skill and they do not. Even if you're not rally leader, it doesn't matter. Um, the Cav General is the purple dragon, and that is what's going to boost your Cav attack even more. We're not going to touch gear this video. Let's see. What's a dumb general that I can just Young Quay? Yeah, ground troops and mounted troops attack by 25%. So what we can do here, and this is literally how you build a general with skills. Most people don't understand it, so I'm gonna go ahead over it with you. I should have the things that I need. So say I want to increase mounted troop attack, mounted troop defense, and mounted troop speed. So the first one has a 0% chance of replacing an existing skill, which is perfect. I want that in there. So I have mounted troop attack. Now, I am going to do a mounted troop speed as a second one, and then mounted troop defense as my third one. You see how I reset that? Now I have to go back up here and re-click on mounted troop attack because it cleared out my mounted troop attack. Oh, that's perfect. That's a lucky run. It doesn't always go that fast. So then you go up to the top and you literally just put a mounted troop defense on top of the level 1 mounted troop defense, and it automatically becomes a level 4 without replacing anything else. And then you're going to do the same thing with mounted troop attack. Just automatically replaces it. Do I not have a... There's mounted troop speed. And then mounted troop speed. Same thing. Right on top. Easy day. So that's pretty much mounted troop, and those are the skills I would use. You can alternate a defense or HP with the speed if you'd like, but attack is overall the most important by far. We can do a archer general real fast. So Semi-Negrate is my archer general. So as you can see, I have him set up with gear and the red dragon, which is your archer dragon. I've started doing his specialty, which will increases his stats even more. But I opt for the range troop attack, range troop range bonus, and the range troop defense. Now, the reason I do the range bonus is because it gives my archers 100 more range, which means they start attacking sooner in the battle, and I'd use the attack to boost the attack so that they're attacking for a longer amount of time before they start taking damage from anything. Other than siege, who have a longer range than your archers. So that is up to you. Some people will choose not to use a range bonus and just use the attack, defense, and HP. Perfectly fine. Just a preference of what you want for what effect. Next we have ground, and I mean, for the most part, all of this is pretty standard and generic. I mean, you can see my ground general's not built. I'm working on him right now. That's the ground debuff dragon, so that's why I have him on that. I use the ground troop attack, ground troop speed, and ground troop defense. Now you can use something else again if you'd like instead of the ground troop speed. You can do ground troop HP, defense, and attack, which is fine. Just know for yourself why you would want to do that and what it helps with. Um, so moving on from him, I think I have him built. One sec. The only thing left to hit is Siege. So Siege is there's not many really good Siege generals like there is mounted and cab generals. You have Khalid and you have Emperor Quinn, which is Siege. You have Solomon. It increases range and siege machine attack by 15% and reduces enemy troops defense by 10%. I sort of went with him. I haven't built him at all, but I went ahead and put skill books on him. I'm hoping they come out with a better siege general so I don't have to build him up with nothing. But you put the range bonus, obviously. You have the siege machine defense and the siege machine attack. So the most important on siege is the attack, obviously, and after that, I would say it's the range bonus because they have such low defense and HP. You're not gaining much of a boost because of the low stats. I mean, if you boost 100 by 30%, you're boosting at 30, so it's 130%. If you boost the attack, which is 9,000 on T13s by 40%, you have a lot more of a boost, if that makes sense. Same for the range. The range is over 1,000, so you're gonna get that extra range and be able to attack sooner and earlier. Um, and that's really all this books there is for a siege, unless you want to also do the HP, which you can't do more than 3 on a epic historic general. The other one that I will say is important and people might or might not know about is this. It is this ring right here, and it will siege machine attack range. It boosts the attack range of your siege by another 10%. It's the only ring that does that, and it's something that's necessary if you're going for a siege-based offense or siege-based defense, in my opinion. Um, let's see. And I have that's my defense general, so it's got the siege dragon on it, which is Wonder 2 dragon. Um, you have debuff generals, which, as you can see, Arminus. He reduces enemy ground troops and mounted troops HP by 10%, enemy ranged troops and siege machines attack by 15%. So Arminus is a good one. Constantine, Arminus again, Canute the Great, Nero, Emperor Dowager Sixi, Andrew Jackson, Empress Dowager 60, Arminus. Those are all debuff generals, okay? And the reason you put those on your subs because they actually impact the battle if they're on your sub. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier about the K30 3 and 34, 35, where they start using the debuff gear, the Achaemenidai gear on the sub. Well, these generals right here actually work on subs to add extra debuffs. Sixi and Nero and Arminus and all of them, they cap at 4, so you can stack 4 of each type tops. But if you spread them around, you're getting debuffs just because you have a debuff general on your sub. Even though it's not much, it helps in the long run. So sure, you can opt in for the other generals and put like sub-city construction or sub-city gold increase, but if you're wanting to be a PvP keep, and I would recommend keeping debuff generals on your subs at all times because they're going to be the most effective early game and mid game until you have full decked out generals with gear on them. Let's see. After that, you have your duty generals, which pretty simple. You have the Man Chow, which is your Archer Tower General. We went over him in the last video. You have your Barracks Officer. All of these are specific generals for the different buildings. It'll tell you what building to put them in if they are a duty general. They do not have skill books yet for duty generals. The only benefit you have to leveling them is to get the extra uh, percentages or boosts from the buildings that he is duty general of. So as you upgrade them and have a higher leadership, attack, defense, politics, you will get a boost. And I'll show you again what that looks like. So we do duty general right here. And sure, we'll change the archer. So you got junior, which would give you a 60% archer tower attack. You got medium, gives you a 90. You got senior, gives you 120. And you got special, which will give you 150. Same thing for every building. Like Archer Camp. You look at Archer Camp and click on it. The junior, medium, senior, and special all give you different stats and boosts. And the only way to get them is to make the duty requirements. So your attack on the general and the leadership on the general that you have in the duty officer slot has to be 1150 and leadership at that 1100. Otherwise, it won't give you the specialty. Let's see here. I don't have every general built, and I don't have every example, but if you ask me on specific generals, I can break it down for you more. Just know my own kit. So this is a defense general right here. Not too commonly used, but also very solid defense general. It increases the trap triggering rate by 60% and range troops attack and defense by 30%. It is a archer-based defense general. So with that being said, you have the siege machine attack, range troop attack, and range troop range bonus. As you can see, he opted in for the range bonus because he has a lot of archers and it's an archer-based general. He has a range troop attack for extra range attack, and he has siege attack for extra siege attack. He doesn't have a lot of siege, I'm going to assume, just because he has siege attack and not siege range. You have the dragon bow, and all of this is dragon gear. You can get it at Keep 27. Later video we'll go over refines and the why and the difference between dragon, Ares, and Archimenidai gear. But just showing you a different defense general than mine. Let's see here. That is the basis that I want to get into this video. We'll talk more at a later video on gear and a gear set for each and why that's a lot more complicated than most people think. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below. I'll try to read them and answer them as I get them. Thanks.